Hello everyone, welcome to Chaudhary Data Watch channel. Today I am here with a new video in SQL series, that is stored procedure. We will be getting aware of all the things related to stored procedure, that what it is, how we can use it, and what are different features of stored procedure. We will be watching all these things all together into this particular video. So let's get started with the video. So very first thing it comes to mind, that what is a stored procedure. So it's just the group of pre-compiled SQL statement and procedural logic. Instead of procedural logic, you can consider it as the business logic. That means it is the group of pre-compiled SQL statement. Now what pre-compiled is? It's nothing but if suppose you are writing some code into your SSMS, right? Those SSMS code, that SQL code is getting converted to the machine language, or you may say machine code, so that your system or your wherever this particular code is getting run, that particular machine can understand that whole chunk of code in their terms or in their language. So that conversion or the process of conversion is only called as compilation. So what it does is, whatever code you are having, suppose this is example in front of you. So suppose this bit chunk of code you are having, that select customer name, contact email from some particular table, all these logics whatever you have written, first that those logics will be converted to the machine code, that is only called as compilation, and that group of compiled codes or compiled SQL statements is only called as stored procedure. So here it is happening that all the business logic or whatever procedural logic it was there, it has been converted, it is getting chunked or it is getting grouped together to form this stored procedure. And the same thing it was happening into the view also. So it's a very rare, it's a very obvious confusion which comes to anybody's mind, that what the difference between the views and the stored procedure. So in views you can only go ahead with having select query. That means you can only keep select query into that particular view, which will give you the return of all the data whatever that whole chunk of query or whole chunk of business logic is giving to you. But in this particular one, in this stored procedure, you can even write this select query. Also, most importantly, you are going ahead with the stored procedure because to do data whatever our data definition language, like whatever create is over there. So you can create table in stored procedure, you can alter table into stored procedure, whatever the data definition you can do, all the things whatever it is getting done into your SQL, it's becoming more flexible over there. That means you can even update your table, you can create the table, delete the table, whatever you want you can do ahead do into your stored procedure, but which is not possible into views. There you can only have SQL select query. That means only you will be able to view the data, not be able to change the data or not be able to modify the data. But here you will be able to it is readily available for modification purpose also. Now why we even use it, you most probably be aware now that why we use this stored procedure. But to go ahead with some technical terms, we are having code reusability, which was there in views also, but it was there into the form of query language. That means you are querying the table, but in here it's the code reusability in the form of each of the things. It may be data modification or it may be data retrievable, so anything it can be. After that, improved performance, of course it is already been compiled, those SQL statements is already been compiled and kept into the stored procedure. Then of course it will take less time to execute those whole chunk of code, right, since it is already been compiled to the machine language. So it improves the performance. After that, we are having transaction management. That means whatever chunk of code we are doing, whatever chunk of business logic we are doing, we can put that whole chunk of business logic into one transaction, so that we can have more control over on our whole procedure or on whole code, you may say. So whatever the steps it is getting performed, so all those steps will be into more control, that if what if you want to do when it will be failed, what you want to do if it will succeed. So all these things become much more easier when you use stored procedure. After that, centralized code maintenance, of course. So if you are having big business logic and if you want to use this stored procedure at many places, definitely you can use that, and only at changing the business logic at one place, it will change the business logic at different places wherever you will be calling this stored procedure or executing this stored procedure. So this is how the stored procedure is benefiting us. And now we will be moving ahead with some practical scenarios, that how we can create stored procedure, modify a stored procedure, and most importantly that how we can execute a stored procedure. There it was execution of view, it was having select star from view name, that's it, as you will be taking out the data from the table. So that was how it was getting executed, or it was getting retrieved from the views. Here we are having execution. After that we can how we can drop the stored procedure or delete the stored procedure. All these things we will be watching in SSMS. We will first move to this one. Here we are having customer new table. So let me show you that how it is looking like. Select a star from this customer new. This table we are having, on which we will be playing around for the stored procedures. See, we are having 4 columns into it: customer ID, customer name, customer email, and then phone. Correct? Now what we will do, we are going to create a stored procedure. For what the syntax is, create procedure and then the procedure name whatever you want to put. And here one new thing is getting introduced, that customer ID int. What it is here, you are declaring a parameter over here. That means this stored procedure will take some input. If you are aware of function into some other language like Python or something else, then it is you may visualize it something like as a function. That as function is taking parameters, or you may say arguments to it. Similarly here we are declaring a customer ID parameter, which this, when you will calling this stored procedure, you need to specify customer ID at the time when you are calling it, and that will put and set it into this customer ID variable, and that should be data type of int. Now select customer name comma contact email. We are just selecting 2 columns from customer new, where customer ID equals to whatever input you have provided at the time of execution of the stored procedure. And that's it. As soon as you create this stored procedure, it will be created. You can see that commands completed successfully. And when you execute, now the part comes when you execute that stored procedure. So that will be with the keyword exec and the stored procedure name, and then whatever parameters are there. So right now it's only 1 parameter, so we are providing 1 parameter. And if it would have been 2 parameters, we would have given comma, then this next parameter, then comma, then the third parameter. Like this we can pass multiple parameter values as the time of execution. So when you execute this, you are telling that select customer name contact email from the customer new table, where customer ID equals to 101. This is what you are trying to tell it. So it pulled out that particular data, and it is giving you in front of that is John Doe, and we are having contact email as well. Now the second thing we are having, that if we want to alter the stored procedure, that means since we are just fetching out customer name and contact email, what if we want to have phone number also? So we will just write down the phone, and then instead of this create, we will just put there the keyword alter. Now as soon as we alter this stored procedure with this query, it will be altered, and now it will give you the phone number as well. So once you execute this, now you can see that it is giving you the phone number also. Correct? And whatever I have just told you, that if you want to delete some particular table or update something, insert something, definitely you can do here with having just you will describe those line of code and definitely it will be executed into this store procedure. So right now it's just a simple select statement I have taken as an example. You can definitely go ahead with some deleting some table or deleting some column from some particular table. All those things you can do at a chunk into the stored procedure itself. After that, if you want to drop the stored procedure, now where this stored procedure is visible into SSMS, you can just go here into this master table, master database. You will refresh it. Now once you have refreshed it, under this programmability, we are having stored procedures. So now this is stored procedures. You can see that get customer details is over there, which we created right now, correct? Now if we want to drop this stored procedure, just we need to execute this command, that is drop procedure and then the stored procedure name. Once you execute it, that stored procedure will be dropped. Now if you will refresh this particular one, you can't get any of the stored procedure into this one, right? So there is no stored procedure. So this was whole about the stored procedure, that what it is, how it is getting created, modified, executed, deleted, and all the things related to it. And if any confusion, let me know into the comment section. Thank you so much guys for watching out the videos, and see you in the next video with some other topic. Stay tuned to the channel. Thanks again.